closer. Have you read the Bible lately?
Have I? Girl, let me tell you.
Child, it's so juicy. But I ain't a gossip.
But for you, I'm gonna spill a little.
Of course, you didn't hear this from me.
But make sure you spread the news.
Because we are about to spill the tea.
I'm royalty. I'm royalty.
Hello, Royals, and welcome to another Tea Time. Y'all, the Tea Time story for today is so good. And all honesty, you guys have probably already heard this tea, but y'all don't know the deeper tea of the tea, okay? How many times can I say tea? A lot. Anyway, I have to tell you guys a story. So I want to tell you a story about David and Bathsheba. So I know you guys have all heard about how David slept with Bathsheba because he saw her bathing on the, what was she bathing on? The rooftop. He slept with her, got her pregnant. But y'all don't know the deeper story, okay? So I got the 411 and I just want to let you guys know. So I will start from the beginning, of course. So David, King David, he is the king of Jerusalem. If y'all know him, he's the one who defeated Goliath, y'all. He is a thug. David is fine. He is powerful. He is strong, and he's the king, okay? And he's a man after God's own heart. He was chosen for the task. And when I say he's a thug, y'all, he a thug. Like, David goes out there and just slays armies. I mean, he just be conquering, okay? So he's fine. Just know right now that the man is fine, okay? So he's good looking. Excuse me. So there was a specific time where it was meant for the king to go out to war. So they were all out to war and they were supposed to go out to war, but David decided to stay home. So he didn't go to war, but it was a specific time for the king to be out. So he was supposed to be out, but he didn't go out. Instead, he sent Joab. So Joab is like his right-hand man in the army. He's over the army. Anyway, so he sent Joab and his army out, but he stayed home. So that was his first issue. He was where he was not supposed to be, and that was at home. He was supposed to be out at war. Anyway, so he stayed home, and one evening he was just walking on the porch, whatever, on the roof, just walking, and he looks down and he sees this woman bathing, and he's like, oh, she fine. Okay, just a random pause. Why was she bathing on the roof? Huh? I kind of think that she was wanting to be seen, but that's just my own petty thoughts. But I'm like, for her to be bathing on the roof, she was wanting to be seen. I think she was trying to seduce somebody. Like I said, David had it going on. But anyway, she was bathing on the roof. So he saw her and he sent his servant. He said, hey, go see who that is. So when the servant went to go check who that was, he was like, oh, it's Uriah's wife, the Hittite. Uriah the Hittite is one of the men that was in his elite army. So his like great army, the one that is like, you know, his army that's like, these are some thugs too. He was in that army. And so he was like, she's the wife of Uriah. And he said, okay. And so he said, yeah, go get her for me. That didn't stop him. Like, oh, he's married to one of your soldiers. No, he's like, yeah, go bring her. So let me take a pause here. So the Bible says that she was cleansing. I think she was cleansing after her period. So back in the day when a woman had her period, she would have a time, she would be unclean during her period, and then she would have a time to cleanse after it. So she was cleansing after her period because it said she was in the time of her monthly uncleaning. So that means she was prime and ripe to have a baby. Just to let you know, she was prime and ripe because she was right after her period. And if y'all know as women, y'all understand the whole process. She was prime and ripe to have a baby. Anyway, back to this. So he brought her over. So he went and got her. And the thing is, he told the messenger to go get her. She didn't even say, hey, by the way, I'm married. No, she was like, aha, David called me over. Yes, let's get it on. So she went, and of course they slept together, and then they went about their merry way. And we all know that story. We know the story. But after this, the pettiness and the shadiness that comes after this, I'm not sure y'all know, but I'm about to tell you. So when she goes back home, she figures out that she's pregnant and she's conceived. And she's like, dang, I'm pregnant. And so she tells David, she sends a message. She says, I'm pregnant. And David panics. Instead of saying, dang, what happened? He's like, okay, I've got to figure this out. So what he does is he sends a message to Joab, who is the head of his army. And he says, hey, Uriah, go ahead and send him back. I just want to, talk to him. So he takes Uriah from the battleground, brings him all the way back home. And then Uriah is there with the king and he's eating with him. He's like, oh, I just want to check up on you. How was Joab? How was the war? How's the army? I just want to check up on you. Haven't talked to you in a while. And he's like, yeah, everything's good. He's like, yeah, let me feed you. And then I'm going to send you back home. So what he was doing, okay, so when he was feeding him, when he was sitting him back home, he wanted Uriah to sleep with his wife. So that when she's, quote unquote, when she's pregnant, it would look like his son instead of King David's. Y'all, that is shady. He brought him all the way back from war to, quote unquote, check up on things. And then he sent him home hoping that he would sleep with his wife. So again, this man has been out to war. He's been in battle. He hasn't seen his wife in a long time. You would naturally think that he would come back and he would sleep with his wife. But Uriah didn't. When he went, he didn't even go in the house. He slept outside the door. And so the next morning, the king was like, so what happened? Did he go in? Did he sleep with his wife? And they said, no, he slept outside the door. And he's like, what? So he brings him back and he asks him why you did that. And he was like, and Uriah was like, why would I sleep with my wife? All these other people are out at war. All these people are fighting for us. And he said, the Ark of the Covenant's out there. Like, there's business to do. I don't have time. It's not fair for me to sleep with my wife and everybody else doesn't get to do what they need to do. So he's such an honest, great man. And David was like, oh, that makes sense. He said, okay, stay here one more day, and then I'll send you back. So he stays with him and he eats with him, and David gets him drunk. Y'all, David gets him drunk. He literally feeds him all the food and gets him drunk because he's wanting him to go sleep with his wife so that people won't know that she got pregnant from somebody else. That is so shady. It's so shady. I can't even. So he gets him drunk and then sends him back to his house. But the man still doesn't go in his house. He sleeps outside. And so when David hears that, he's like, dang, now I got to do something different. So he sends Uriah back. And then he sends a message to Joab. And he says, hey, when you guys go to battle, I need you to put Uriah on the front of the line, like the front of the army line when you guys are about to be attacked. And then when you're about to be attacked, everybody draw back and leave Uriah up there to die. Y'all, that is so rude. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Let me not get excited. But that is rude. So he sends him out there and tells him, hey, put him out in the front line. And then when you guys are about to be attacked, like pretty much back up and let him die. That's what he did. And so Uriah died. So he pretty much murdered this man because of his mistake that he was trying to cover up. So he murdered this man. And not only that, he had some other casualties from his army too. So they died. And so Joab was like, man, these men died. And David told him, well, you know what? That's what war is. That's what happens. That's what happens. So you guys go on about your merry day, continue the battle. So he just like literally brushed it off like, oh, that's life. That's life. And then when Bathsheba heard that her husband died, she mourned. Let me just take a pause. I understand that she is sad, but girl, are you really sad because you slept with somebody else, huh? You slept with somebody else and you're going to be sad that your husband died? Are you sure you weren't part of the plot? I'm just saying. Anyway, so she cried, and then after her time of mourning, so, women in the back of the days, and now too, it's a good time of mourning. It'll be weird if your husband died and then right away you're with someone else. Everybody would be suspicious. But she had a time of mourning, and then after that, Dave was like, okay, girl, your time of mourning's over. Let's go. And he took her to be his wife. Y'all, and I'm going to stop right there, okay? There is so much more juicy stuff after that. Literally, his whole family from that moment was destroyed. And you will see it. You have to read it. By the way, this is found in 2 Samuel 11. But y'all, let us stop right there and have a moment to talk about how petty and shady David was. Huh? That is so petty and shady. So not only did he make a mistake, and he slept with a woman he shouldn't have been. And because he was in a place he shouldn't have been, he should have never been there in the first place to get in trouble. He should have been in war where he was. So he wasn't where he was supposed to be. Then he made a mistake with somebody's wife. Then he tried to cover it up by making that man sleep with his wife so it wouldn't look like she created adultery. And then when that didn't work, his last plan was to get the man killed. Y'all, how wrong is that? It is so evil and it is so shady. There's no other word for it but shady. That is some shenanigans. And still God called him a man after his own heart. Huh? A man after his own heart. Oh gosh, there is so much to learn in this story. There's so much, but I just want to pinpoint a few things. The first thing, again, David was not supposed to be there. He was supposed to be somewhere else. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but when you know you're supposed to be somewhere else, or you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be, somehow you ended up somewhere you're not supposed to be, and you end up in a situation whether you do something what you're not supposed to do because you're in a place you're not supposed to be. I've had plenty of those moments where I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here, and I came out here knowing I'm not supposed to be here, and now I'm messing with stuff I'm not supposed to be doing, and I should have never been here. Be where you're supposed to be. Don't be in places you're not supposed to be in. And the Lord will give you that guidance. And you know, your Holy Spirit, or what people call their conscience, you will feel that. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. Why am I here? So one, be where you need to be, and don't be where you're not supposed to be, because that's outside of God's covering. God covers you where you're supposed to be. Be where you need to be. Two, when he made the mistake, we all make mistakes. We make bad mistakes. It's just life. We make mistakes. Instead of trying to cover it up, and instead of trying to throw the blame on other people and use other people for his own faults, he should have just admitted the mistake in the first place. He should have taken responsibility for his mistake, for Bathsheba, for the baby. He should have taken responsibility. I believe that he could have avoided a lot of trouble if he would have taken responsibility in the beginning. For you guys who are going to read the rest of the story, I don't want to spoil it, but pretty much the Lord was not pleased. And the Lord literally sent a message to him through Nathan saying, brother, I am not pleased with you. He's like, this baby that's going to have, not going to survive. Like, your family, there's going to be turmoil in your family, all this other stuff. And there was, if y'all know, there was turmoil in his family. His son went crazy. His daughter was raped. All this stuff happened. And it's not because God didn't know that protection over his family was kind of taken. And so all this stuff happened because you let in sin, and it kind of just seeps in and does what it wants to everything. And so it was so sad. But I think all of this could have been avoided. One, if he would have been where he was, but two, if he would have taken responsibility. Take responsibility. Three, the third thing that I learned, and that I feel like, for instance, that servant that he told in the beginning to get to Bathsheba, and I don't know if it was a servant or somebody, or it was a servant, and then he told Joab about what to do with Uriah. I think somebody should have spoken up. Somebody knew what was going on, and nobody said, hey, like, I know you're the king, I just want to give you some advice. I just don't think what you're doing is right or is pleasing to the Lord. Nobody spoke up. They quote unquote minded their business, and because they minded their business, they ended up in the situation. Sometimes I think we allow our friends and people around us to do what we want, even though we see them on a destruction path, and we don't want to help them. We don't want to do anything because, we don't want to be offensive. We want to stay in our own thing, and that's not right. I always say, and my sister, my dad, and all my family know, my friends know, y'all, if y'all see me going down the wrong way, please stop me. Okay, even if I ignore you, at least say something. Say, hey, I just want to let you know you're going down the wrong path. This is not the right way to go, and I need you to stop. We have to start being those kind of friends and those kind of people who care about people. It's out of care. Like, I care about you, and I see that you're going down the wrong road. So let me just tell you, like, hey, I'm telling you right now, danger, 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 danger. And we need people like that. I need friends like that who will be like, Mariah, stop it. So yeah, y'all, this story is so good. It's so juicy. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. So I hope you guys got a lot out of it. Again, it's 2 Samuel 11. Go read it. Read the rest of it. It's so good. And we will see you guys next week for another story. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this blog, like this video, and subscribe to this video and like this video, and then subscribe to the blog, Instinctively Royal. All right, you guys, we will see you next week. Have a wonderful day. All right, bye.